Hello and welcome along once again to the latest instalment here on AndyHoldingSpeedFigures.co.uk YouTube channel with a look back at last week's major highlights on the time figures. Beginning early on in the week on the 17th of August, there was a good race at Leicester, certainly for the grade anyway, won by a horse called Arku, trained by William Jarvis. Katie's Kitten made sure that there was a real strong early pace, as is normally the case with that horse at Leicester. And when that horse capitulated 2 out, it was left for the strong stayers to come through and gain the day, particularly Arku, who powered to the line all the way down the centre of the track. Time figure said was very healthy, 98, which is incredibly good for the grade. That's up there with some of the better races that we got at York last week. So that race is definitely worth keeping an eye on and perhaps watching back on the videos. But Arku, been improving 3-year-old, trained by William Jarvis, is the one to take out of the race. On to York then, and Mishrif was the highlight on day one, clocking a 98 time figure, in keeping with some of the best times that he's ever produced. And he certainly rubber stamped himself as one of the best horses in the world on the evidence of what we saw on the Naysmire. Imperious in the last couple of furlongs, he strode well clear of a stellar field to record a very fast time. Not sure where he goes next, but either way, between a mile and a quarter, mile and a half, Mishrif is always going to be a big factor in those big Group 1 races. On to the second day of the York Ebor Festival, and it was the 2-year-olds that took centre stage in the second contest. Zane Claudette went on to win the Lowther, and she did it in a breathtakingly fast time, the fastest times that we've got of any 2-year-old so far this season. That was held by Lusail prior to York. Lusail had clocked a 92 when he won the July Stakes, and Zane Claudette beat him by 3 spots, clocking a 95. Now Lusail clocked a 92 again in winning at York, so he's run up to his level when he won the Gimcrack. But that performance by a filly was right out of the top drawer. We don't think we'll get too many faster run races than that in that level, at that category, throughout the rest of the season. So Zane Claudette is clearly a horse going places fast. And she managed to uphold the form with Desert Dreamer, who Oisin Murphy had difficulties with in the final furlong. Don't really think Sand Dreamer's run below par, because she clocked a 92 at Newmarket, and she's actually bettered that at York. So for supporters of Sand Dreamer, we're probably thinking, well, that was a disappointing run. You can think again, because I just think she was beat by an exceptionally good filly in Ishmael Mohammed's charge. So Zane Claudette, big time in the Lowther. Snowfall was the big time figure on the day, as you expect. She clocked a 99 in winning the Yorkshire Oaks in a pretty devastating fashion. That's been the order of the day from Aidan O'Brien's filly all the way through the season. 16 lengths in the Oaks, 8.5 lengths at the Curragh, and then six lengths again on the Naysmire. So yeah, all roads now lead to the Ark, and if she's in that kind of form again, she's going to be extremely difficult to beat. A couple more names to mention from the action at York towards the back end of the meeting on the Friday. The best time of the day, funny enough, was in the concluding handicap, won by Rifleman, John Gosden's charge. He's a bit of a quirky customer. He wears the visor, and he's had one or two rude things said about him in the past, but you couldn't deny his application on the Naysmire. He got his head down and he battled all the way to the line. He quickened up really well off the back of sound fraction set by Arla May. I think this form is going to work out quite well, and it's probably a horse that I'd probably suggest that you should be thinking about with regard to Cambridgeshire in another month's time. I know John Gosden always does well in that race. Lord North, of course, one of the prime examples in recent times. He's a bit more exposed perhaps than some of those Gosden runners in the past, i.e. sort of 3-year-olds with a very, very light sort of campaign. But he's a useful horse, Rifleman, so it's probably worth sniffing around a few anti-poach prices for him. And then last but not least, Sonny Boy Liston clocked a 98 in winning the Ebor on the Saturday. He'd been laid out by the race for Johnny Motor, who won the race before, and they put the cheek pieces back on him on this occasion. And it's noticeable only 3 runs this season, including the one at the York previously beyond Hookham. He didn't have any headgear on, so that was clearly a wise move by Johnny Motor, very shrewd. And he stayed on doggedly towards the end. If anything, the only reservation I had about him prior to the race is whether he'd stay out the mile 6 journey. But he answered that in no uncertain terms, proving that stamina is very much his key component. Not sure where I'll go now, but Melbourne Cups and races like that have definitely been mentioned. And he looks the type, doesn't he? Because he's very, very game, and he's got a profile to suggest he should run well down under. Also, to note from that race, Max Vega, and away he goes. Given the race panned out, they did extremely well to finish 5th and 7th respectively, having turned in last and last but one from the home turn. So definitely mark up those two. I think in a normal year they might have got to be a little bit closer, but it was very much paid to be handy at York throughout the entire week. Okay, thanks so much for listening to this edition then of the Andy Holding Speed Figures blog. I'm actually having a week off, so I won't be watching too much action, but the guys in-house will be doing all the times for me as per usual. So we'll have a blog for you either this time next week or perhaps Tuesday when I've cherry-picked some of the best times for you. So until then, that's me signing off now for another week. Bye from me for now. That's it. Just go upload that and ready to go.